So the next section of the application is supporting information. So when you click supporting information, it's going to ask you to do the educational programs and work experience. So this is a new section on the application just for this year, given that they took out the SAT, they want to get to know you some more. So it's going to ask, have you participated in any of these programs in high school and beyond? If you've any of these that they have, you'll say yes if you have, you'll say no if you haven't. If you say yes, it'll ask how many years. Then it's going to ask, what was the average number of hours worked per week over the most recent 36 months? If you have worked, you'll select the hours. If you haven't, you'll put 0. If you have, you'll select the hours and it'll ask, was more than 25% of your work hours related to your major of choice? So say, for instance, you're majoring in education, liberal studies for education, and you worked as a daycare assistant, then you'll say yes. If you haven't, you'll say no. Then it's going to ask extracurricular programs and leadership opportunities. So it's going to say, select the average number of hours per week you were involved in an activity. Whatever the case may be, you'll put that. If it was 0, you'll put 0. Then it's going to say, did you hold or have you held any leadership positions in those activities? You're going to say yes if you have, no if you haven't. Then you will save and continue to the next section. The next section is the Educational Opportunities Program section. So for this, it's optional. EOP is for first generation low income students. So if you are eligible, I highly suggest you do this portion of the application. If you join EOP, it'll help you when you get into college to get accustomed to college, but also it'll help you with getting free printing, scholarships, and academic counselor advising, a summer bridge program, and all of that. And so it's very beneficial if you are eligible. So it's going to say, do you wish to apply? You can say yes, or you can say yes, I will return later. EOP, some of them, the deadlines are not due until after December 5th. If that's the case, then you can come back, but I just suggest you get it done as soon as possible. And then you can say no if you're not interested at all. So we're going to go yes, and then it's going to open up this section. It's going to say, if you attended CSU where you enrolled in EOP program, not applicable, none of you attended. Then it's going to say, where do you plan to live while attending college? Everyone should say on campus. It's going to say how many brothers and sisters are currently attending K through 12, depending on whatever it is for you, you'll put that. How many brothers or sisters are currently attending college? If it's just you, you'll put 0. It's going to say how many brothers or sisters received a bachelor's. If none of them, you're going to put 0. It's going to ask what languages are spoken at home. You'll put that. During the past 10 years, have you or your family received any income or public assistance from CalWORKS, CalFresh, welfare, etc.? Whatever applies to you, you'll say yes or no. If you have, it's going to ask for how many years, and then it's going to ask the types of aid. Then it's going to say, have you or your family ever participated in any publicly funded subsidized housing? Again, depending on your answer to any of this, school lunch is considered one of these. So you'll say yes if you get free reduced lunch and list the options that apply to you. Then it's going to say, do you or any of your children or family work primarily contribute to household expenses? If you work to help contribute to the bills, you'll say yes. And you're going to explain that here. So if you had to work, for instance, especially during the times that we're in right now, you can say had to pick up a job due to COVID, but you're going to want to expand on that. So don't just write it like this. You're going to want to expand on this situation. Then it's going to say important reminders. You'll read through it. You're going to say, I've reviewed this information. Continue in the next section. The next section is the EOP application. So it's going to say, ask you, do you want to continue to the EOP? Either you can return later, you can say yes, continue. It's going to ask about parent information. It's going to ask the name, the occupation, and then if you want to include a second parent, do you have a second parent to include? It's going to ask about their income for 2020 and 2021. If you're anticipating they're going to have the same job for next year, then you could just put the same number for 2021. It's going to say, are you independent of parental support? This would be no, unless you are emancipated minor, foster youth, homeless youth, unaccompanied minor, all of that would be yes. After you do this section, it's going to take you to the next section, which is the biographical information. Again, you could do this now or you could do it later. If you say yes, it's going to ask you these questions that you want to answer. Please reach out to your advisor if you need help on how to answer these questions. Also, please make sure you're doing these on a Google Doc, because if the website crashes or you do not finish or you take a long time, none of this saves. And so you want to make sure you're doing it on a Google Doc. Once you do that, you'll say save and continue to the next section. The next section is recommendations. You are going to need to include a recommender. So when you get to this section, it's going to ask you, would you like to add a recommender? You're going to say yes. And then you're going to put their name, their email address, the date they automatically put, or you could include, and then the message you want to write to that recommender. Please reach out to your recommender before you do this. Don't just send it to them, let them know. And then you're going to say, yes, you waive your rights. And you're just going to check these 2 boxes. And then you'll save. You can add up to 2 recommenders for this section. All righty. Once you finish, you're going to get sent back to my application, and that is the supporting information section. The last section on the application is program material. So you only will have this section if you're trying to apply for a program that you require additional material for. So when you select it, you're just going to scroll down if it has any information or if it has any questions sometimes that wants you to answer. All righty. So once you finish the application, you'll go to submit my application. And this is the section where right here, if you finish the application, will tell you view my fee waiver status. On here, when you click it, it'll tell you if you qualified for a fee waiver or not. And based on the answers you put on there, on the application, will determine that. If you have a question and you think you should have gotten and you didn't, again, please reach out to your counselor or your advisor for that. If you got the fee waivers and you have the 4 schools and you're done, you could submit the application, but please make sure that before you submit the application, you reach out to an advisor to have them look over it, because you want to make sure you submit it with the accurate information. That is all for the application. After you finish all 4 of these sections, they should be green and you are all done with the application. If you have any questions, again, please reach out to your advisor so that you can get assistance on that. And if you want to go back to any of the sections, again, we will be having separate sections for each of the applications that you could navigate to. Thank you all for joining me on this video. And again, I'm very excited for you all, and good luck to you all in your future endeavors. Have a great day and stay safe. Bye, everyone.